Hey class, and welcome to week 12, History of Psych. Hopefully, that you guys are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. As always, I just wanted to go over a couple of announcements and important topics for this week. All right, so kind of as always, our goals for the week, I would love for you guys to read the chapter. We are on, I believe, chapter 11. Nope, sorry, chapter 10. Look over the slides, watch the video. I have a video on Rorschach and assessments. Take the quiz. I really do recommend that you guys give yourself a couple-day break, study, and look and start studying for exam number 3. It'll cover our last 3 chapters, 8, 9, and 10. Just a reminder that if you are interested in the optional extra credit paper, that is going to be due April 4th. As always, if you guys have any questions at all, you can send me an email, you can send me a Canvas message, or you can come to my office hours Monday and Wednesday from 10 to 11. If those times don't work for you, just let me know and I can make sure that we schedule you in. All right, when we start looking at the chapter in this week, I kind of always like to focus on where are we in history. Kind of a way to conceptualize it is we are in between the 2 world wars. So everything that's happening in this chapter was also happening at the same time as sort of like the birth of behavioralism, the birth of psychoanalysis in Europe, kind of the birth of Gestalt psychology at the time. But this chapter really focuses on the other. So what is not included in behavioralism, psychoanalysis, Gestalt, but is still really important to the field. A way to kind of conceptualize this would be thinking about applied psychology. So you will hear the term kind of applied psychology in other classes, as well as grad school as well. So applied psychology is really kind of taking the theories that we hear about in our classes and applying it to real world settings. So the focus of this chapter really does take a look at like psychological studies that are happening during this time period, as well as testing. So psychological testing really kind of expanded during this time period, such as with the Army alpha beta tests, the development of intellectual testing as well. Another huge focus is going to be on the developmental theories. So I know that we have all kind of heard of Piaget and his stages of development. Maybe some of you have not heard so much about Vygotsky, but he also had kind of stages of development. So this is really the first time the psychologist took a step back and we were trying to kind of conceptualize the stages of development and how people develop across the lifespan. Both of these people are very important if you take developmental psych. I know that you have heard of both of them as their contrasting theories. They really were not people who were fighting against each other or competing against each other. They were very kind of different at the time period. You probably have heard of Piaget significantly more than Vygotsky because at the time Vygotsky was studying in Russia. Russia had a huge kind of communist kind of hold at the time. So many of Vygotsky's papers and books still to this day have not been published. Vygotsky's work is really kind of coming out slowly currently and not necessarily when he was still alive. This chapter also really focuses in on the origins of social psychology. Why did social psychology start? Who are kind of the main people in that movement? But really kind of the takeaways I want you guys to have from this chapter are going to be during this time period, psychologists in America tripled. The APA, regional, state, and psychological associations were really starting to develop, get off the ground. More and more people were kind of going into the field of psychology. During this time period as well, a range and varieties of studies in applied psychology began appearing in different fields. And they were kind of multidisciplinary. So they weren't specifically just about psychology. So it was psychology and engineering, psychology and education. Also, studies started to take place in the ranges of assessment, sports, and advertisement. There really was, again, a kind of a huge focus on testing. The big tests that I want you guys to look into would be the Army Alpha and Beta, and why they were used, what were the differences between the two, and what were kind of the downfalls of these tests. And during this time period, we really do see kind of the rise of developmental psychology and the creation of kind of developmental theories. New branches of psychology, including social and personality, which seem to be one of the more popular branches. Definitely the branches that people kind of want to get to know, and they always are interested in those topics, really kind of emerged in this kind of applied setting. So I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys find the information of this week interesting. And as always, if you need anything at all or have any questions, I am happy to help or explain more. Hope you have a great week. Bye, guys.